Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your old pal CHH. So this video actually happened by accident, really. The idea to do this video because, you know, the other night I was just trying to settle down, wanting to put something on TV to watch. So I put on The Last Drive-In, the Joe Bob Briggs show on Shudder. I love the show. And the episode I watched happened to be Alvara's Haunted Hills. Now, I had never seen the movie. I am an Alvara fan. Most guys are. You know, I grew up knowing who Alvara was. She was always an icon to me. Now, Alvara, Mistress of the Dark, the movie Arrow put out, I was all about the movie. I loved the movie Mistress of the Dark. And it got me thinking about something. I was like, okay, so I watched the episode with Joe Bob on Alvara's Haunted Hills, which we have right here. We're going to talk about this because this is something I really want to discuss with you, the audience. I enjoyed the film, and I was like, why do I not own that? And so I started looking up, you know, reviews of the Blu-ray real quick just to see if it was good. And the first thing I noticed that it was a hardbox release. Now, I knew that, but I hadn't thought about the movie in so long that it just slipped my mind. I instantly was like, that was a hardbox release. That Scream Factory did, in the style of like the Halloween films. So it really got me wanting to talk to you guys about what happened. Why did Scream Factory stop doing these hardbox releases? This is the way I perceive this, guys. So this is going to be my story with this. So in America, I feel like the hardbox style release really started to culminate to the collectors like us. I feel with a release like House. I think the House release is a good example of, you know, us getting to know and love this style of release. You know, this is not something that was the first of its kind, but I know for me, in my story, and some of the friends I have that were in physical media during that time, Arrow really started to push with this type of packaging, the hard box style releases. Because I think the one I had before this, Bride of Reanimator, which I have till this day, it's kind of like that plasticky, bendy cardboard stuff. So I feel like this became a release that was like a household, like, oh, this is what physical media can really be like. This is like a nice way to release, you know, movies, blah, blah, blah. So this came out, and I think Arrow really realized how happy their customers were with that packaging. I think after that they did Creepshow 2 on Blu-ray, which I got the first run of that. They've since re-released the movie a number of times because it was so popular. But Scream Factory didn't really adopt that model. It wasn't for a few years, I think. And all of a sudden, one day, I'm on YouTube or on Facebook, whatever, Instagram, and I get the announcement, or I hear about the announcement of Creepshow coming out from Scream Factory. But what really took me by surprise with this whole thing was the packaging of it. I looked at it and I was like, whoa, this is incredible. They put out Creepshow in a really nice prestige-looking release. I mean, this is a nice hard shell box for this, and it's very much like Arrow's release. So it's like the Creepshow release from Scream Factory is similar in a lot of ways to the Creepshow release for Creepshow 2 release for Arrow. You know, you get your movie on a 4K scan from the camera negative, which I think Creepshow 2 is a 2K scan from the inner positive. But my point remains, it's definitely done in a way for fans, by fans. You get the typical thin Blu-ray case the way we get in the States, whereas Arrow gets those more chunkier kinds of cases. But they also mimicked in the style of giving us a really cool booklet. We got a cool booklet with Creepshow 2, and I think this one is even no, it's not like a comic book. It really is like a making of book. Now, I think I speak for a lot of people, and maybe you watching this, that you would say, well, okay, Christian, like when that came out, that release for Creepshow, that to me is one of the best releases Scream Factory did. They did it in such a nice way. I'm sure it sold very, very well. As a matter of fact, I think this movie's still available from Scream Factory, and it may even be with the hard shell. I like this release so much, I even told people when the 4K of Creepshow came out, don't get rid of this release. It's so nice. And of course, what happened with the 4K release of Creepshow in America? Their business model today with Scream Factory is, you know, we're going to put the movie out on 4K, and you can pay for 2 slipcovers if you want new art. And this video is not going to be me talking bad about that. I have my opinion. If you've seen a number of my videos, you know I'm not exactly thrilled with that prospect. But I really think this was like proving to me now that we are out of the golden era of Scream Factory. But let's get to that in a second. So this release comes out. I think a lot of people loved it. I mean, it is this gorgeous hardbox release for Creepshow. Now, I can understand that you probably don't want to do a release like this for every movie, right? Creepshow is a home run, though. I mean, this is such a great way to release the film and a smart way to release the film. So this probably sold extremely well. So I think a culmination of Arrow really introducing this kind of packaging to us in a big way with a title like The House, the Two Stories Collection. Then the 1-2 punch of Creepshow 2 selling so well for Arrow Video and that packaging. I think Scream Factory was like, yeah, I think it would warrant us to do something like this for Creepshow. And we got this release. Fast forward to 2021, guys. We get the announcement that Scream Factory is in fact putting out the Halloween films now. Just in case you're not familiar, they put out Halloweens 1 through 5 at this point, and then it wasn't until the next year, 2022, that they did Halloween 6, 7, and 8 together. Yeah, just making sure they didn't skip a year. Time has just flown that fast. I feel like these just happened. But anyway, so we get the releases, and I'll just pull this out for reference. You know, we get the releases from Scream Factory, and here we go with our Halloween movies. And, oh, by the way, in case you didn't see my interview with Cliff McMillan, the co-creator of Scream Factory, the reason they never put out a Halloween 4K box set themselves, obviously this is an aftermarket box I have for this, but the reason they never put out a complete collection box set themselves is because Paramount had purchased Halloween 6, 7, and 8. And when they approached Paramount about that, Paramount says the only way we'll license you these 3 movies is for you to sell 6, 7, and 8 by themselves together in a box set. We're not going to allow you to put it in a box set with the rest of the movies. So that's why. So watch that interview if you haven't seen it. But anyway, so here's Halloween. I mean, they did a great job with these. I think everybody was pretty happy besides the art. You know, there's a lot of arguments over the art. I think the art is charming, and even though it's not the best, I think it ages well in a way that it's just like, okay, you know. But anyway, people were really happy with these styles of boxes. Just for reference, we'll pull out a few more. Halloween 2, they're very thematic. They all kind of have the same appeal. Halloween 3 being the difference maker in terms of art. It's very different from the rest. But here's the thing. So we get our Halloween 4Ks. But during this time, something happened. Now, this is what's very interesting to me. So, around the release time of the Halloween 4Ks, they put out another movie. Now, I can't remember for sure or not. There might have been a chance that the Halloween 4Ks were, in fact, delayed by a few months. So, if that's the case, then exclude what I'm saying. But the fact is, the movies came out on this date. They were slated online. If you look up the online release date of these movies, they're this date. I forget the exact date. It might have been September 5th or something. But another movie came out that same day. The movie in question was Alvara's Haunted Hills. Now, the interesting thing about this release is it is, in fact, a hardbox release. It's hardbox. Now, I picked this movie up, like I said, because I happened to watch it on the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs. Now, I enjoyed the film. I don't think it's as good as Mistress of the Dark from 1987, but this was pretty fun. It's somewhat of a medieval movie. Alvara, she wakes up, she's at the wrong castle, then she's getting run out of town. It's zany, it's funny. So after that, that's why I said I went to go look up the movie, and then sure enough, when I got it, oh, by the way, let's just say you're watching this and you say, oh, I didn't know that was a hardbox release. I want to get that. I did not order this off Amazon. I played it safe and ordered it from Orbit DVD because they tell you does come with rigid slipcase on there. I'm not saying you won't get it with the hard shell from Amazon, but you run the risk of, you don't know. You run that risk. So I just want to put that out there. So I decided to order the movie, and it just got me thinking, what happened? Why have they not done this anymore? Why have they abandoned this model? Why have they not taken select 4K movie titles? For instance, let's take a big title that they've put out. Maybe Alligator, or a new title that comes to 4K like Alligator. Or maybe they would have taken, Carrie or They Live when it came to 4K and done something like this for that, where I think it would have made a lot more fans happy. It gets even more confusing when we're at a point now where Scream Factory is really dipping their toes into the 4K market, but they put this movie out, which is a restoration from the 4K scan of the original camera negative. They put this movie out as a Blu-ray, not as a 4K. So, yeah, and I wanted to show this too. I reversed the art, and the artwork is really nice. I don't know if this was Justin Osborne or not. Usually I can find the name, but yeah, the name's not on here. But my point is, it makes it even more confusing that during this time they put this movie out as a 4K. I mean, as a Blu-ray, not a 4K, in a hard box. And there's no booklet or anything in here. So it begs the question, what happened? Part of me wonders if this didn't sell well, and it made them say, we're not going to focus on this, we're going to pivot. Maybe they had a game plan to want to sell more stuff in hard shell boxes. Or maybe when they were making the Halloween 4Ks, it didn't cost them that much more money to add a title to do in this style. I could be wrong, and maybe we just got lucky and got another movie that had one of these hard shell style boxes from Scream Factory. Maybe when they were producing all the materials for this, it cost them a lot less to add this into the manufacturing process, as opposed to, wanting to do this again for a couple one-off titles down the road. Considering these movies all came out together with 1 through 5 and then 6, 7, 8 together, I would assume it's cheaper to print more of these hard shell boxes at a time. From watching Shark Tank, I kind of learned this. So maybe during the process of making the first movies, they did this as a way to add a fun title with this kind of packaging, and it didn't cost them as much in the manufacturing. Or maybe this didn't sell very well. I don't know. It is interesting that I'm able to still get this as a hard shell box 3 years later. Granted, I bought it off of a second-hand store with Orbit, not directly from Scream Factory or anything. But to get this just kind of made me start thinking, what happened? Why did they abandon this? They don't do this at all anymore. They did this for the Halloween films, they did this for this movie, and they did this for Creepshow. And as far as I know, I can't speak for everybody, a lot of physical media fans seem to be happy with this kind of packaging that they were doing. I'm not saying do it for everything, but not do it at all anymore. It's really weird. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today, because I found that interesting. I did enjoy the movie. This is a good release, by the way. There is a lot of great featurettes on here. There's a lot of great stuff. There's a new introduction by Alvara, Mistress of the Dark, audio commentary with Alvara, etc., etc. And it looked gorgeous. Like I said, it was a 4K scan from the negative. So not only did they not do this movie in 4K, considering they did it 4K from the negative, but they put this out as a Blu-ray in a collectible box. There's a lot of what-ifs with this for me, and I just want to kind of scratch that itch to get the conversation going on what you guys think. So as far as I know, the Halloween 4Ks, Elvira's Haunted Hills, and Creepshow are in fact the only hard box releases from Scream Factory, and I don't really understand why. I wish I could have asked Cliff that. Obviously, he's not working with Scream Factory anymore, but maybe I can reach out to him and ask him that. So I will try to get with him and see if I get an answer for that. But I don't know if he'll have an answer for that. He's not in charge of that sort of thing as far as I know. But who knows? Anyway, guys, just thought I'd talk about that. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff down below. This is your old pal CHH. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.